Welcome back. The tactics of cyber criminals are growing more malicious by the day. They've since set their sights on a particularly vulnerable institution, which is K through 12 schools, gaining unrestricted access to your children's most private information, including social security numbers, medical records, even their daily bus rides. Schools are now urged to enhance cybersecurity measures to prevent future breaches, but many don't know where to begin. Cybersecurity expert Mishaal joins us now. He helps secure organizations against cyber threats by offering strategic insights from a hacker's perspective. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I know you've met with superintendents about this. What are the biggest cyber threats that schools are facing today?
Hi, thanks. I think one of the biggest threats that they face nowadays are breaches and ransomware, and they need to be more cognizant and aware of the big things that are out there and how to protect their data. I think most school districts right now are not taking this from a strategic approach. They're looking more on the tactical side of things, products, services. I think they need to step back a little and do more planning, more incident response planning, and kind of know what the situation is before acting on it.
Because many school districts, we often talk about how they struggle to pay their teachers, they struggle to supply the school supplies needed for students. I mean, this week, schools in Philadelphia are closing early because they don't have air conditioning and it's just so hot out. With knowing all of that, I mean, how many of these schools realistically can afford the tools that are needed to combat these threats?
So budgeting is always an issue, so I say start with budgeting. School districts, sure, they don't have a lot of money, but a lot of these tools don't cost anything. A lot of the services are free, provided by the government or by nonprofits to school districts. And we need to have this discussion on what is free, a lot of the low-hanging fruit that can be put in place. Things like multi-factor authentication and stuff and email security, a lot of it does not cost anything at all. So like I said, define your risk, prioritize what needs to be done within the restrictive budgets that districts have, and a lot can still be done. But I think the conversation needs to be had on what is the risk first, and then let's start handling it in a very professional and methodical approach.
Because as we alluded coming into this, I mean, there's so many critical pieces of information for our children that school districts have in their database. From your perspective, how aware are schools that that is information that a hacker wants and they can get into their systems and get it?
Yeah, not very aware. This is what I do for a living. I go to school districts and I make them aware of what hackers are doing, what the bad guys do with that information, how, simple pieces of information like your phone number, email address, home address, and now social security numbers and stuff, which are on the clear web, not even the dark web anymore. How can they be exploited with basic information around the parents, the teachers, the students? And once they're aware that, oh, voice cloning is happening right now, they can clone our faces and scam us with creative hacks. Once they're aware, it becomes much easier to avoid it because now your defenses are up and you know exactly what's about to happen. So awareness is key.
What's the best piece of advice you have for parents?
Don't give out information that you don't need to. Question everything. Every time you're filling out a piece of form for either school or anything, they ask a lot of information. It's usually they need 2-3 pieces of information and that's it. All that extra piece of information that they're asking for, if they're asking for a social security number, why do they need this? They're asking for a home address, there has to be a reason. So question everything and don't give extra information because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to get hacked and leaked, and that information is going to be used against you, unfortunately, in the next hack. So be careful what you give out and be cognizant and aware of how it can be misused in the next scam against you.
Yeah, question everything. It seems to be a phrase that applies to so many parts of our lives in the world that we live in. Cybersecurity expert Mishaal, thank you for your insight this morning.
Thanks for having me.